Hey y'all, I'm Chris and this is it Worth It Y'all? And today we are going to make one of my go-to simple dips to take to parties or whatnot. It's my 9-layer dip and we are going to start with a vegan version. This is just a great thing to have. Usually when you go to a party, and especially like whenever I cater and stuff, there's really not a lot for vegans or vegetarians. So I wanted to make sure that we used ingredients that really made sure that we could have a vegan version of this dip. Now, specifically, what we had to change in this was we had to go get some refried beans that were vegan specific. You've got to be very careful and read all of your ingredients on your refried beans to make sure that the ingredients in there are good, because sometimes they fry those beans in lard and vegans can't do lard. So we went and picked up, and I'll link all of the vegan items down in the description so you can see them, but we did the vegan ingredients. I think I got them at Whole Foods. So we also made sure that the guacamole didn't have anything in it. The black olives are black olives. The chilies are chilies. The dairy substitutions are really, really cool. We had to find a non-dairy cheese and a non-dairy sour cream. We also made sure that the taco seasoning was vegan as well. I didn't think about that until I got in the store and I was like, you know what, let me look at that. I haven't looked at that. And they have specific taco vegan spices. I couldn't think of the word. So this is going to be the same for the regular version as well. We are going to layer in the refried beans. I like to add the guacamole next. I think that putting that in between the refried beans and the sour cream mixture is better, and it keeps it from turning black, because if you let that guacamole expose to air, it will turn black. So there is the taco seasoning and sour cream mixture. We're putting that in next. And then we will go in with the vegan shredded cheese. And I tell you what, y'all, I couldn't tell the difference between the two. I tasted them side by side, and had I not done this myself, I wouldn't have known. All right, we go in with the chilies. These are just chilies in water. Same thing with the black olives. And then we put our our green onions on top, and that is the vegan version of the 9-layer dip. All right, we are going to move into what I call the plain or the regular version of this dip, and this is going to be the same exact thing, except we are going to use items that are not necessarily vegan. So we are going to work with a ton of beans here at first. I'm going to put in some refried beans that are store-bought, some of my beans that I canned, because I thought I had 3 or 4 of these cans and I didn't. So we're going to mix in the rest of that vegan bean mixture, some of my beans, and then we're going to mash them up. The texture was actually really cool. I kind of liked the combo of the whole beans and the regular beans, and those are pinto beans. So all the beans are pinto beans in this mixture. So we're going to mash these up. And this is going to be our base layer for the regular version of the 9-layer dips. And we made a ton. I made enough to take to the party, and I made enough to keep one here. I added salt, pepper, onion powder, and garlic powder to this. Those are kind of my 4 staple ingredients that I put in just to give it a little taste other than just of the bean flavor. I like to layer those flavors in whenever I can. And so we're just going to mush this up as best as we can. We're going to go grab some, oh yeah, we got to taste test it. We're going to grab some of those pans, and we're going to start layering in. All right, going in with our next layer. We're going to layer that guacamole in just like we did previously. We're just going to use the same exact guacamole. The guacamole, the ingredient lists in there are fine for both vegan and for regular. And I got the regular ingredients just from Aldi. I used the Aldi brand stuff. Their guacamole actually is kind of one of my favorites. I really like their guacamole. It is, you know, if you go and buy the avocados and mash them yourself, yeah, it might be a little bit less expensive, but the time saving for me in this process right now is what I needed. So we just grabbed some of that avocado or the guacamole. Next thing we have to do is we have to strategically get all of this taco seasoning into these teeny weeny little sour cream bowls. I could have put all this in a bowl and mixed it up that way, but I didn't want to dirty another bowl. Plus, I was kind of winging it because I didn't know, you know, I wasn't using a pack. I was using, like I did with a vegan recipe, I was using just my taco seasoning that I have sitting on my counter next to all my spices. So I was trying to figure out what was the best ratio for the sour creams that I have, and those are 16-ounce sour creams. And I believe it ended up being 2, maybe? Yeah, I think it ended up being 2 heaping tablespoons, and that really was enough per 16-ounce jar of sour cream. So, and we like our sour cream, so we loaded it up. Now onto the cheese layer. We count this as 2 layers because we use a white cheese and an orange cheese, so this is considered 2 layers. So right now you have in the bowl refried beans, that's a layer. The sour cream, that's a layer. The taco seasoning, that's layer number 3. The sour cream layer number 4. Now you've got 2 cheese layers, 5 and 6. And so we have 3 layers left after this, which are the olives, the onions, and the chilies. So we douse this with cheese. This is the, I think those are 2-cup bags, and we, obviously you can see we used all of it. We are not shy when it comes to cheese, and we just piled it on. If you love spice and you love chilies, you can find these canned chilies anywhere. Walmart, grocery store, Aldi. They're not too hot. We kind of layer them in heavy because we like the spice, but these are definitely an easy go-to, so you don't have to, you know, if you wanted to use a bell pepper, then what I would recommend is to use, you know, grill it up, get it nice and soft, and then place it onto the cheese. These are just a nice spice level, and usually everybody likes it. Now, y'all, I'm a little frugal, so you could purchase your black olives already diced up into little circles, but I looked at the cost of 1 can versus it would probably, I think they're sold in smaller cans, and so the price difference on me sitting here for just a minute and cutting these suckers up versus buying them whole or buying them already cut up, yeah, that was a no-brainer. I went ahead and just took the time real quick, did a can, well, ended up using 2 cans for all 3 9-layer dips, and the cost difference was totally worth this little bitty amount of time that I had to put the black olives through a knife and get them all nice and diced up. So this was definitely worth the time versus the cost here. Do y'all have a version of 9-layer dip that you use? Comment below and tell me if you would change any of these ingredients that I use. I think some people use lettuce. Comment below and tell me if you'd change anything. All right, we are on to our final layer. We are going to do some just plain old green onions. I'm just going to use the majority of the green. I think I use a little bit of the white, but not a lot. I like the look of the green better on the tops of these, but I just needed a little bit more volume, so we went ahead and put some of that white in there. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is a no bake, no cook. It's literally layer a bunch of ingredients. I love this as far as being able to prep this ahead of time. You can do this a couple days in advance, and it's a great dish to take with you. So like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And until we see you on the next video, bye y'all.